much, and gracias to you. And we're sorry we don't have verbal translation, but all the slides are translated into Spanish, into Espanol. So thank you so much. And so if you look, one side is in English and one side is in Spanish. And so, just to review from last month, mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, how we relate to others, and how we make healthy choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life, even for your children and your teenagers, and of course for adults. And then many people talk about financial literacy, which is about educating yourself about how you save, how you invest your money, how you handle and spend your money. But then there's something else that goes a little bit deeper called financial empowerment. Because you can have financial literacy, meaning you know about how to save, you know about how to handle your budget, that's great. But if you don't take any action, it won't make a difference. So financial empowerment is that the person is not only informed about how to handle their money, but they're also skilled and they're taking actions to handle their money well. A financially empowered person understands how they spend their money, how they make wise financial decisions, and they have access to resources to help them reach their financial goals. And Yesel, right on the right side of your screen, there's the Spanish slides as well. And so we're going to go a little bit into what is the connection between your mental health and your finances. Because managing your money can be much more difficult when you have poor mental health. And also, worrying about money can impact your mental health, your stress, your anxiety. So, people with problem debt are more likely to experience mental health problems. And this is the same information in Spanish. About 46% of people in a high amount of debt also have a mental health problem. And then about 86% of the respondents of the Money and Mental Health Survey, which surveyed 5,500 people, said that their financial situation made their mental health problems worse. And people who have problems with mental health are also likely to have issues with debt, with carrying money that they owe. And these are the slides in Spanish. And if you registered, you will be getting the slides at the end of the workshop. And so, again, there is a cycle that connects mental health and financial issues. And there can also be a cycle that connects your healthy mental health with financial empowerment. So it starts that, you have mental health problems, and then it makes it harder to earn money, manage money, and spend money. And you may have to ask for help, and then you have a financial difficulty. And then the financial difficulty causes stress, anxiety, worry, and it makes things worse by collections calling you or you going without the things you need. And these instances can also be the cause of mental health problems. So it's not that money problems only come from mental health crisis. That's not true. Sometimes money problems may come because you're working a job that doesn't pay you a living wage. Money problems may come because you're in an unjust situation or in an abusive situation or because a COVID happened or a natural disaster. But sometimes also money problems can lead to mental health problems. So it's important to know that. And this is a similar photo in Spanish, and sorry for the background noise. And then we have, again, the connection between mental health and debt. So almost 1 in 5 or 18% of people in America with mental health problems are also in debt. People experiencing mental health problems are 3.5 times more likely to be in a high amount of debt. So Some people may carry debt because they have a mortgage on a home or some student loan debt. So we're not talking about any type of debt, but problem debt, meaning debt you can't pay back, debt that's in collections, debt that you don't have a plan to pay. And so about 5% of people with mental health problems are almost 3.5 times more likely to be in a high level of problem debt than those without mental health problems. Also, 72% of mental health I'm sorry, 72% of the mental health and money survey respondents said that their mental health problems worsened their financial condition. So if you're stressed out, if you're anxious, it may be difficult to concentrate while you're at work. It may be difficult to look for a new job. It may be difficult to make a budget and stick to it. And financial difficulties are usually a common cause of stress and anxiety. And stress and anxiety also greatly impact your mental health. And then there's a stigma people judge around debt. And then that means many people, because of the stigma, they won't always ask for help. But the most important thing you can do is to ask for help. So, some money habits, and we'll go a little bit more in depth with this later, but to track your spending and start a budget. You set goals to save and pay yourself first. Be intentional with how you're spending and invest in your future. And some of those tips are also on this slide in Spanish. And so, another way that mental health and debt connect is carrying the debt can have an impact on your mental health, especially if you start cutting back on essentials like your rent, your heating, food, or if creditors and people you owe are aggressively calling you, emailing you, sending you mail. And then also for those who have mental health conditions or substance abuse conditions, it is financial difficulties make it hard to recover from mental health or substance abuse difficulties. And people with depression and high levels of problem debt are 4.2 times more likely to still have depression 18 months later than people without financial difficulty. So these are just some things that we should be aware of, and it's in Spanish as well. It's very hard to heal from stress or depression or financial difficulties if you have financial issues, but there shouldn't be shame around having financial issues because there are many things in society that may cause you to be in debt or to fall behind financially. The most important thing for you and your family, though, is that you get help so that you can actually get out of debt or pay those bills. And NIDC does have a whole financial empowerment sector with more workshops, even workshops on how to buy a house. We have a housing department. So if you want those services, definitely email or text me. And so make sure that to get out of debt that you begin a repayment plan, even if you're just paying the minimum. If you have student loans, you can get an income sensitive repayment plan, but try to pay something every month and then add debt to your budget. So when you're doing your budget, you have to add the debt, just like your cell phone bill or your rent. And then creating a budget, but create a budget that's realistic. If you're not going to stick to it, it doesn't make sense to create it. And then start to write down or track, even on your phone in the notes, what you're spending and where, because that can really help you know where you can cut back or where you may need to increase. And so we want to just go a little bit into financial trauma because a lot of times issues with finances are not only connected to mental health issues, but may be caused by past traumas. And often trauma in the past impacts you right now. And so financial trauma is not an official psychiatric diagnosis, but it is usually used to describe those who have financially triggered post traumatic stress syndrome. And this includes different challenges people experience when they have difficulty coping with either an abrupt financial loss, like a loss of a job or a loss of a spouse who is contributing income, or the constant stress of having inadequate financial resources. Financial trauma is sometimes caused by a history of poverty, an increase in debt, financial losses, financial discrimination, meaning many African Americans and Latinos were given subprime mortgages over a decade ago, and those mortgages eventually had such high payments that it put people into debt, or just lack of resources. And these are the slides in Spanish right here. And the thing with financial trauma is it's something that we have to recognize, because some people overspend due to financial trauma, but then some people hoard and they underspend due to financial trauma. So either one can put you and your family at risk, because if you have money but you're not paying your bills, or you're not buying the things that are essential for you and your family because you're hoarding, due to financial trauma, that can also cause issues. And so it's really important to know, what is the state of your mental health? Are you anxious? Are you depressed? Do you have trauma from the past? Do you have trauma from COVID? Just being aware will help you to know the areas you have to work on and how you can seek help. And so and then the causes of financial trauma are not things to feel ashamed of. The most important thing is to have an awareness so you can get help from a mental health counselor, from a social worker, from a financial coach. It's really important to actually seek out help for these things. But some of the signs of financial trauma are financial dependency, meaning you have to depend on others for your basic needs, compulsive spending, like overbuying things you don't need, underspending, being a workaholic, so you work all the time, even when you don't need to the point of getting sick or neglecting your family. Financial avoidance, meaning you don't open bills, you throw bills away, you don't pay them. Or lack of financial boundaries. You're always giving away money or sending money to family to the point where you can't take care of yourself. Or a scarcity mindset, meaning you hoard, you keep things longer than you need to keep them. One thing you can do if you feel like you're holding on to things too much is to go through things and see what you no longer need or what you no longer will use. And you can either give them away to a homeless shelter or a Goodwill or a charity, or you can use sites like eBay or Poshmark to sell things that are in good condition. And that can be a way of getting rid of hoarding, but also keeping money. And then also having a high risk aversion. So you will not, ever invest in a 401k or in a 401(b) or in a stock, or you will never do something different on your job because you're so afraid of losing the money. And that can mean you lose out on opportunities for you and your family. So these are the signs of financial trauma in Spanish. And again, it's not about being ashamed, but just being aware. If you're too loose and overspending your money, that could be a symptom of financial trauma. But if you're holding on too much and hoarding to the point where you don't have space, or you have many things you don't need, that is also connected to financial trauma. In order to increase your financial health, sometimes you are going to have to invest, or you are going to have to spend. The issue is making a budget, staying in it, and not being impulsive with your spending. So some tips for coping with financial trauma are to embrace your worth. Some people feel if they don't have the most expensive thing, even if they can't afford it, that they're not worth anything. It's nice to have nice things, but you can't seek your worth with that. And if you struggle with depression or low self-esteem, you might try to seek out worth by what you buy. Also, seeking support. Seek out a mental health counselor or a book on financial literacy, or, looking up videos on YouTube about budgeting as a parent. But seek out support for your financial issues or your mental health issues, or both. There's no shame in getting help. And we'll talk about some resources to get help soon. And then manage stress, because stress can impact your health, which can impact your ability to make money. So it's important to also manage stress, and then decrease shame. Don't, allow shame to, don't allow shame to cause you to not seek help, because then that will just keep you in that cycle we talked about, where you have the mental health issue impacting the financial stability, then the financial stability impacts your mental health. So you don't want to not seek help. And then also identify your triggers. What triggers you to overspend? What triggers you to hoard? Know those things and practice self-compassion. You want to know your triggers so you can handle them, but you also want to be compassionate if you have made financial mistakes in the past, because now you have to make a plan and move forward. And the best way to do that is being compassionate. And then also apply financial mindfulness to your life, meaning that you think about what you spend, you plan on what you spend, even if you are going to get something fun or something expensive or treat yourself, it's planned and not always, impulsive. And then you want to shift from a scarcity mindset to abundance thinking. So, scarcity is I have to hold on to everything because I don't know when the next opportunity is coming. But abundance is, yes, I value what I have, but I can also let go if I don't need it anymore or if someone else needs help within reason. And then also practice healthy detachment. Yes, you want to value the things you have, but you don't want to be defined by them. And then also rewrite your money story, even if you grew up with not enough, even if you grew up with being in lack or in poverty, you can rewrite your money story to be one where you have everything you need and that you're being abundant. And then you have to, though, set financial boundaries. So it's really important to set financial boundaries. If you don't set financial boundaries, is going to be really, really difficult to save, to invest, to be financially healthy. So before you help others financially, you have to think about, have I helped myself? Have I helped my family? If someone is constantly they're an adult and they're able-bodied and they're constantly needing the help, then you might keep them money, or should I be helping them find a job or helping them go back to school? These are all things we want to think about. Are there any questions before we go forward? Any questions from
No,
you,
I'm good.
Sandra?
No.
Okay, okay, okay. And so we're going to talk about, and let me just put it in Spanish, but just seven tips for transforming your relationship with money. And it's really important to make sure that if you do have any financial trauma, that you begin to be able to transform how you think about money and even transform how you receive help in becoming more financially empowered. And Yasel, if you look in the chat, I just asked if you had any questions in Spanish. And so take a look at your relationship with money. Are you thinking in a scarcity mindset? Are you overspending? Are you overgiving? Do you not have a budget? Do you have a budget, but you need to stick to it? And then also identify how you want your new relationship with money to be. So do you want to be a person that not only makes a budget, but actually keeps it? Do you want to be a person who's able to give more? Do you want to be a person who doesn't hoard? And establish an intention or goal. So one goal, instead of trying to do all 10, all of the 12 tips for dealing with financial trauma in 1 month, think about one thing you can do, like setting a budget or reviewing my budget weekly and sticking to it, or saying no more. Think about one financial action you can take to be more healthy in your finances. And then start setting a foundation for your new relationship with money. Do you need a financial coach? Do you need to, go to therapy to deal with trauma around money? And remember, though, to give yourself grace because change is going to take time. And it is a very hard financial time right now. But also seek professional guidance if you need it. Meaning, if you have to go to a money coach or read a book about financial literacy or go to a mental health professional, that is fine. And then celebrate your new approach to dealing with money. And so, thank you, Yazelle, for listening, being patient during this English portion. Now, Ms. Sandra, I'm going to ask you to be patient as we watch a quick video about tips to change your relationship to money in Spanish.
No problem.
Yazelle, are you still there? Yazelle, are you still there? Hi, Isel, are you still there?
She just popped in and popped in. I can see her initials.
Okay. And so I will share the link to the video in the chat for everyone to continue to watch. But I just wanted to play that before we move forward. And did you hear yourself? Were you able to hear? Were you able to hear? Oh, I
Um,
can. Mhm.
el español no.
You were
ah,
able to hear?
¿Has
eh,
cometido un error?
no entiendo.
You weren't able to hear the video? Oh, Miss Sandra, could you hear the video?
5 trucos para mejorar tu relación
Yes,
con
I
el.
did hear the video.
Oh, you said you could?
I could hear the video, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I hope you could hear the video.
She can hear
Okay.
you. I'm more than sure she heard the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the rest of the video is in the chat. Escuchar el video. And so please finish looking at that. But we just wanted to also talk about, again, if you feel like your mental health is impacting your finances, then we do want to encourage you to seek out help. And New York City Well is a free 24-hour mental health resource where you can call or text or chat and be connected 24 hours a day to a private mental health counselor. On the website, you can translate the website into English, Spanish, Chinese, Arabic, or French. And they have different apps on the website that you can download on your phone to also go over small mental health exercises. They have resources for children as well. If your children need assistance, and many, many resources. If you look, they may actually have resources about mental health and money. And this is the website in Spanish, and here is the website in English. Does anyone have any questions about what was shared so far, um, or any thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
No.
Okay. And this is the website.
Ya recuerdo.
Okay. And before we close, I did want to just remind everyone that there are primaries coming up in the city. But in addition to the primaries for your city council person or your assembly person, there's also a citywide participatory budgeting process. And participatory budgeting actually came from Brazil, and it's a form of budgeting where people, the voters, actually decide how government funds are going to be spent. So in New York, in some neighborhoods like East Harlem, they've done a participatory budgeting process. But now the New York City Civic Engagement Commission is doing a citywide process. So in the fall, NIDC, in the Bronx, and myself in Harlem, and many other organizations actually developed ideas from regular citizens, including kids, about how $50,000 could be spent on a program to help the community in a city council district, and then how on a borough level, how $400,000 could be spent. And now those different programs from all over the city for different city council districts and boroughs are on a ballot. And so the whole website is also in Espanol. And so I would really encourage you between now and the end of June to go and look at the projects. They have projects about technology for seniors, programs for youth. You'll be able to vote for the project in your neighborhood and borough, and the project on the you'll be able to vote for a project in your neighborhood and on the borough level. And anyone 11 years old and up can vote, whether they're a citizen or not. But this is our tax money and how it will be spent. And so I want to thank you and say gracias for coming to workshop 2. Next month, we will try to have simultaneous translation going on during the workshop, but I just want to encourage everyone to take take the feedback survey, because the feedback survey does help us to design the workshops. And so I'm going to just drop the feedback survey in the chat, and I will be sending you, Sandra, I will be sending you your gift, and congratulations. And then
Thank you.
also, you're welcome, and thank you for coming again. And then I also will be sending the slides from this presentation, and the slides are available in English and Spanish. And so I just really appreciate you taking the time out to come to the workshop today, because I know as parents that you are very busy, but it's always good to take time for yourself and to just improve yourself. And so, are there any other questions before we sign off?
No.
No.
Okay, and so I really appreciate everyone being here again. I'm just going to, if you wait one more minute, I'm just going to drop the to actually drop the form in the chat so that you can give feedback. And we will be having an upcoming workshop that has to do with technology and screen time, and how to help your children not only get, not be on the screen so much, but to also help your young people be safe while they're online. Because the thing is it's important, for them to not, it's important for them to not be online so much, but it's also very important for them to be safe while they're online, because unfortunately it only takes a few minutes of a child being online for them to actually in order for the child to actually be impacted by people who try to take advantage online. Um and so we want to go, the next workshop will be, helping your kids manage screen time, but also um, how they can stay safe. And I'm sorry. And any other questions or any comments?
Did you put the survey in the chat already?
No, I'm going to put the survey in the chat right now.
Okay, I actually do have a question. Because I
Okay.
hear you
Yes.
talking about as far as like for the housing and stuff like that. And I have like, I'm not gonna say I'm handicapped, but I do have a handicap issue and I live on the fourth floor without an
Mm-hmm.
elevator. I've been trying to get my management to move me to a lower floor or move me out the building. And they are
Mhm.
giving me a hard way to go about that. What can I do about that?
So actually, we have a housing department. And so I want to direct you to the housing department, if that's
Hmm.
okay, because they would be the best people to help you with that.
Okay.
And I will give you the information right now. I did put the link to the survey in the chat. So while you take
Okay.
the survey, I can actually get you the contact to the NIDC financial empowerment office,
Okay.
if that's okay.
No,
And
that'd be
then
great.
yes, and then I'm dropping this. If you take while you're taking the survey, I'll give you the information on the financial empowerment department.
Okay.
And then I'm going to drop the survey also in Spanish. Okay. And then you can call the housing department usually between like 9 to 5, and they should be able
Okay.
to help you with that.
Okay.
And it's unfortunate, but a lot of in right now there is a lot of times where there's like, harassment going on. And so I'm so sorry that you're going through that, because it's something that's really um it's something that's really impacting a lot of people in the city.
Right.
And it's something that definitely make sure to speak about, because if you don't, people will definitely try to take advantage, and it's no need for that to happen. So, Giselle, the survey is in Spanish if you want to take it as well. And thank you all for being here.
Bueno,
You're welcome.
Okay. And
quiero
here's the survey in Spanish. The second one. And then Sandra, I'm dropping the NIC housing
Okay.
and community development contact, and you can let them know you attended a parent workshop, and
Hmm.
just be in touch. And these are the services they offer in the housing department.
Okay.
And I'm going to
Is
just
that the
drop the phone number as well.
NIDCNY.org? Okay.
The whole that shows the services they offer, and that's a number that you can call in
Okay.
order to be in touch with the housing department.
Okay.
And then I'm actually going to give you a whole list of people that you can
Hmm.
call, their direct extensions,
Okay.
right in that. And then Giselle, the survey is in Spanish if you want to take it as well.
Sorry.
That's okay. But if you want to take it, you definitely can take it online as well. And you should be able to click on the drop down menu and actually have the survey in Spanish.
I'm finished too as well. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much. No,
Thank
I was
you,
talking
Miss
because, like I
Sandra.
said, I had a surgery yesterday, so I'm in the hospital.
Oh,
But I knew this was coming on today, and I was like, whether I'm in the hospital or not, I can still get on and listen.
oh, thank you so much. I hope you heal really quick from your surgery.
Thank you so much.
I had a procedure in December, so I definitely understand, but I hope you heal, and thank you for being on. And I hope you just
You.
taking care of yourself
Yes.
also. Definitely. I hope you taking care of yourself and practicing that good self-care.
Yes,
It kind of is not fun getting surgery, but one thing that helps is, once you get the medical, whatever medical condition taken care of, then that I feel like it helps so many other things in your life.
absolutely. I agree.
Yes. Thank you so much. And Giselle, buenos noches. And I see your daughter. And
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Sandra, did you and Giselle, did you need to get any of the links or the phone numbers? Because it
Yeah, I'm
is
getting
seven
ready to get the
o'clock.
names that you
Okay, I'll
put
stay
on.
on while you're
I'm
doing that.
screenshotting them really quick.
Okay, I'll do
I
that while
I have
you're
finished. I finished.
okay.
Yeah,
And
I just screenshotted them.
you can call those folks and
Hmm.
they will be able to get you some great help.
Okay.
And I appreciate you all being on. Gracias and good
Okay,
night
on the
and
love.
buenos
Good night.
noches.
Okay, honey.
Buenas
Bye.
Bye bye.
noches.
Bye bye. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.